Hey Queens, welcome to episode number 11. And this episode is a summary episode, so get your pencils out and your paper because you're going to want to write down any of the episodes that you missed that you may need to go back and listen to. And then we are going to talk about the remaining episodes for the season. So sit tight and let's get into it. Hey Queens, yeah, you know who you are. God, come on. Go ahead and put that crown on your head. Now tilt a little to the left. Now a little to the right. Perfect. Now let's get to work. Because we know you got big goals. And you got big dreams and not afraid to let them know. Why? Because you step into your purpose. You speak out on your faith. And you shift up in your journey. Because you a boss. Welcome to the podcast, Drop the Expiring Act with your host, Belly of QueenBayGoals.com, reminding you that you are a queen before anything else. It's your life and your goals. Make it royal. All right, y'all. Go ahead and work that crown. So, the Act Like, Think Like series, which we started around episode number 2, was a series where I talk about the actions and the mindsets that I want you to try if you are committed to dropping your aspiring act this year. So if you are ready to drop your aspiring act and become the entrepreneur in your life, the CEO in your life, the glass ceiling breaker in your life, the singer in your life, the dancer in your life, whatever it is that you are ready to drop your aspiring act on, we talked about the actions and the mindsets that you can try to exhibit in your life so that you can do these things. So in episode 2, we talked about act like a woman, think like a boss. So if you missed that episode, you might want to go back and listen to it because we talked about how you bring your whole self to the table and you don't have to act like a man, and how you can think about the bottom line and what's good for your company and remove emotions and don't take things personal when you are at your job or in your business, whichever one that you're doing. So that episode was episode number 2, Act Like a Woman, Think Like a Boss. Those were the actions and mindsets that we talked about in that episode. In episode number 3, it was Act Like an Asset, Think Like an Entrepreneur. And this episode is not just for people who want to be entrepreneurs, because in that episode we talked about having an entrepreneur mindset. An entrepreneur mindset does not mean that you necessarily want to run your own business. And the actions that we talked about in that episode was to give value, know your value, and to take action when you aren't being valued. So if you need to go back and listen to episode number 3, remember that's what it was about. Act like an asset, think like an entrepreneur. In episode number 4, we talked about act like a writer and think like your reader. And this episode was not just for authors. This episode was for anybody who needs to start taking action in the thing that they're saying that they want to drop their aspiring act on. So for that episode, the action was, just write. If you want to be a writer, just dance. If you want to be a dancer, just sing. If you want to be a singer, if you're ready to get into that VP office, you need to start acting like a VP and figure out what it is you need to do to get to that VP level. So in that episode, the mindsets that we also talked about was do it for your audience. Do it for the people who are your readers. Don't do it for the dollars. That's not a good look. Do not do it for the money, because if you're just doing something for the money, trust me, a lot of times it's going to show and people are going to realize that. So make sure you're doing it for all the right reasons. And that was episode number 4. Now, episode number 6, the actions I talked about was to make quick and final decisions and be strategic, because that episode was all about act like a CEO and think like a creative. So think outside the box. Think like a creative. And in episode number 7, that perfect person who I thought was the person who would act like a CEO and think like a creative was Marie Forleo. So in episode number 7, we talked about act like Marie Forleo and think like Oprah Winfrey. Now, I'm going to talk about the mindset. The mindset for that episode was about building your brand, because Oprah Winfrey, her name is an entire brand. She has magazines. She used to be on the Oprah show. She then owned her own network. Like, she's an entire brand. But before we jump off of that, I just want to make sure people understand when I said act like Marie Forleo and think like Oprah Winfrey, I had the episode planned before this whole debacle of, whatever happened with the Black Lives Matter thing in the Marie Folio group, where I guess she kind of quieted the Black audience by saying, they were shutting down comments for the weekend. On topic, so I had already had that episode recorded. I had already did it. I don't know that I would have changed it because of the things that happened in the group, because my opinion is still my opinion. I still feel like she's a CEO and a very creative one at that. So it is what it is. Next, we had episode number 7, which was, no, we just talked about episode number 7. So we have episode number 8, which was Act Like J.K. Rowling, Think Like Stephen King. And then in that episode, the actions that we talk about was, don't give up and keep going like J.K. did, even though people were rejecting her Harry Potter stories, and look where she is today. And then the mindsets of keep doing what you love and build your brand and, create your own lane. If there is not a lane that looks like the one that you want, go ahead and create your own lane and continue to do what you love. In episode number 10, the last one when we wrapped up the Act Like, Think Like series, it was Act Like Michael Jordan and Think Like LeBron James. And in that episode, I said, for the actions, be a beast in your craft and continue to learn, because there's so much that you can learn. Even if you think you've learned it all, go find something else to learn about, whatever your gift is, whatever that craft is, whatever that aspiring act you're ready to drop is. Keep learning. And then the mindset was, don't think that you have to be one thing. You don't just have to be one thing in this life. There are so many different things you can be. Whether it's, you're going after your career, whether it's you going after creating a business, you can do so many things with that business. You can do so many things in that career, and it just doesn't have to be one thing that you're known for the rest of your life. Now, you may have noticed that I skipped over episodes 5 and number 9 because those episodes were actually book reviews, because at the end of the month we do book reviews. So for episode number 5, we talked about the book Successful Women Think Differently by Valerie Burton. And in episode number 9, we talked about The Path Made Clear by Oprah Winfrey. So if you've not read those books yet, I think you should go out and grab them, especially for The Path Made Clear. You should probably listen to the audiobook version for that one, because you can hear the actual people talking. It's not just Oprah reading the book. It's the actual people that she's talking to. You're hearing the words coming out of their mouths. And I also give you an app where you can actually download to actually listen to the episodes or borrow the books from your library if you have a library card. Go listen to the episode, because I tell you the app that you can download so that you can download books. Since you're quarantined at home anyway, if you're looking for something to read or looking for something to listen to, grab that app. Now, going forward, we have about 8 episodes left, 2 of which are book reviews, and the remaining 6 are the Queen Bey goals. Now, if you have not noticed on the website, wherever you're listening to this episode, it says queenbeygoals.com, which is the brand that contains the Drop the Aspiring Act podcast. Now, queenbeygoals.com is my blog, which I also have a YouTube channel as well. There are usually links to both in the description for the podcast episodes. So if you have not seen those links in the podcast episodes, you can also go to my website, queenbeygoals.com, to find the links to the YouTube page as well. So who is Queen Bey Goals? There is no who is Queen Bey Goals, because Queen Bey Goals means, queen before anything else, or queen building an empire. And there are 6 Queen Bey Goals that I say we, but that I have as a foundation for Queen Bey Goals. And I tend to say we a lot, but it's just me. Like right now, it's just me. Like, I'm writing the blog, I'm doing the YouTube channel, I'm doing my own editing, I'm doing my own social media graphics. Like, everything is just me right now. And I edit the podcast episodes. Like, all of that is me. Today, I'm going to say today, because I'm going to speak it into existence, that we're going to be a bigger brand. See, I'm still saying that we are going to be a bigger brand than where it's at today. So in the remaining episodes, I'm going to talk about the 6 goals of the Queen Bey Goals. And the 6 goals are things that I'm still working on in my life, because I always like to tell you I'm not perfect. Like, I'm in no way perfect, and these are things that I'm still working on. And as I work through these things, I kind of share on the blog different aspects of how it's working for me, and sometimes it's not working for me, so it goes both ways. So I share all of that on the blog. So the 6 topics that you will most likely see in the blogs are what I'm going to break down in the next 6 episodes. Well, the next 8 episodes. The other 2 episodes are just book reviews. And the next 6 episodes, the topics are God First, Mindset Matters, Align Habits, building strong relationships or relationship building, whole self-care, and live on purpose. And I'm going to go into more details on each of those in their own separate episodes. And I did not just say them in any special order, but as I talk about each one, I'll tell you how each one builds into the other. So make sure you come back and listen to the rest of the episode for the rest of the season. And after the next 8 episodes, we're going to go on a break at the beginning of August, and then we'll be back in October. So if you have missed any of the episodes from the Act Like, Think Like series, go back and listen. Make sure you listen to the ones that, really caught your attention from the summary that I just gave. And then don't forget to subscribe so you can come back and hear about the 6 Queen Bee goals that I am actually trying out in my own life. And maybe you can try them out too, and don't forget, after we're off in the season for after August, if you want to go check out my YouTube channel, there's always content that you can find there, and you'll always find content on my blog as well. All right, Queens, so I will talk to you guys in the next episode. You have been listening to another episode of Drop the Aspiring Act. If you're looking for more information of this podcast and other episodes, please visit queenbaegoals.com. That's QueenBaeGoals.com. All right, y'all. I'll see you in the next podcast.